What if I told you this sneaker costs $30 to make, but people line up overnight just to pay 10 times that? And not because they're more comfortable, better made, or built to last. In fact, some of these are intentionally worse than cheaper shoes. So why do people still buy them? The truth is, sneaker brands don't just sell you shoes, they sell you a story, one so powerful it can rewrite your identity. And once you believe it, you'll never look at sneakers the same way again. That sneaker, it retailed for $300, and it sold out instantly. I didn't even buy it myself. A friend in the industry gave it to me after seeing the resale prices go through the roof. But here's the thing. I never mentioned the comfort, the materials, or the performance. It might be no better than a $40 pair from the outlet mall. And yet, I'd bet your price guess went up, just from the story. That's the trick. Sneaker brands don't just make shoes. They engineer hype systems, carefully design stories, rituals, and scarcity loops that rewire what we think value looks like. So let's unpack how they do it, and whether any of it is actually real. The sneaker game today looks like retail, but functions more like a religion. There are sacred drops, rituals, pilgrimages to flagship stores, even relics, sneakers that never get worn, only displayed. The brands understand this perfectly. Nike, Adidas, New Balance. They don't just launch products. They craft narratives around scarcity, legacy, and belonging. You don't just buy a shoe, you're buying membership in a tribe, the kind of tribe that signals your taste, your awareness, and your cultural capital. A $20 shoe keeps your feet dry. A $200 shoe says, I know what's up. And that signal, it's priceless, especially in a world that runs on status. Most sneaker brands could flood the market if they wanted to. They choose not to. Limited releases, region-exclusive drops, raffles you can't win. It's not about logistics, it's about desire. Just look at Nike's sneakers app. It's supposed to make exclusive releases fair, but for most people, it feels more like a ritual of rejection. You enter, you wait, you lose, and somehow, you want the shoe even more. The harder it is to get, the more we want it. Not because the product changes, but because we change. Every barrier, waiting in line, refreshing apps, makes the shoe feel earned. That effort creates emotional value, which feels just as real as material quality. That's why brands don't just sell shoes. They design trials, tests of loyalty, taste, and commitment. If you pass, you don't just get a sneaker, you get a story. I remember refreshing the sneakers app one morning, fingers ready, heart racing. 10 o'clock hit. I clicked, you're in line. 30 seconds later, didn't get them. And even though I didn't want them that badly before, now I felt like I lost something important. It wasn't the shoe, it was the feeling of being on the outside. Some sneakerheads take it even further. They'll fly to other countries for pop-up drops. They'll pay $1,000 resale just to own something that proves they were fast enough, smart enough, dedicated enough. And that desperation, that's engineered too. Think about the Jordan 1. It's not the most comfortable, not the rarest, not the newest, but it's the Jordan 1. The story is legendary. Banned by the NBA, worn by Michael Jordan in his rookie season, fined every time he stepped on court. Nike turned a penalty into a myth and a marketing masterclass. That single model helped turn sneakers from performance gear into pop culture relics, and brands have been chasing that formula ever since. Travis Scott wears it, it sells out. Virgil Abloh remixes it, it becomes museum worthy. It's not about the leather or the laces, it's about the mythology. The sneaker becomes a symbol, not just of style, but of defiance, of taste, of knowing the legend behind what's on your feet. Kanye's Red Octobers dropped with no warning, just a tweet. People scrambled to click, the site crashed, some didn't even get a confirmation page, but weeks later, a pair showed up on their doorstep. No receipt, no packaging, just myth delivered. That sneaker now sells for over $10,000, and it's not about the materials, it's about the moment. I'll be honest, I used to think sneaker culture was kind of ridiculous. Paying hundreds, sometimes thousands, for something you step on seemed insane. But the more I studied it, the more I realized it's not just about flexing. It's about feeling something, the weight of a story in your hands, the anticipation before a drop, the quiet satisfaction of knowing you get it when most people don't. That's the emotional engineering behind sneaker design. It's not just a shoe, it's a feeling made physical. Sneaker brands don't just design shoes. They design experiences that manipulate your sense of time. The sneakers app doesn't let you buy, it makes you wait. Supreme stores don't just sell, they stage scarcity like theater. Even the unboxing is choreographed. Double boxing, embossed paper, subtle scent of fresh rubber. It's not fast, it's ceremonial. And time matters. A quick buy is forgettable, but a slow ritual, that sticks. Some sneakerheads keep shoes they've never worn. Not because they're precious, but because they represent a moment, a drop, a story. Over time, the creases become history. Yellowing soles become proof of life. And the sneaker becomes more than an object. It becomes a memory made visible. Walk into a Foot Locker and you're surrounded by bright lights, loud music, stacks of boxes. Every shoe is accessible. Grab and go. Now, walk into Flight Club. Every pair is behind glass. The lighting is soft. The staff speak quietly. Even the air feels filtered. You don't just browse, you witness. The store layout tells you, these aren't shoes, these are artifacts. Maybe it's not about flexing, maybe it's about wanting to feel part of something, to wear a story on your feet, to walk in someone else's myth and make it yours. Because sometimes, that's the closest we get to owning a piece of culture. Sneaker brands don't need to convince you their shoes are better. They just need you to believe they mean something. Because in a world where attention is currency, owning the story is more powerful than owning the product. And when you walk down the street in that hyped up pair, you're not just wearing shoes, you're wearing belief. If this made you see sneakers a little differently, consider subscribing. I break down the hidden logic behind the things we buy and why they matter more than we think. A like goes a long way too. Thanks for watching.